Hey guys, it's Anna with another art video, and so I was using this sketchbook, which is an old one. It is from 2018, as it has this really nice thick hardcover, and I was using it to tape down a watercolor painting that I just recorded a video for, and it got me looking at it, and I thought I would look through this old sketchbook and do a little sketchbook tour. Let's get into it. So this first one, a dude. I'm only gonna mention specifics if I remember something in particular. I remember with that one I wanted to try drawing a guy rather than very nice long hair girl or the half shaved thing. I wanted to try drawing someone balding. This one, yeah, I wanted to draw a bunny. This one is pretty cool. This one I drew, I walked and there was a green that was all set up with pretty Christmas things, and I wanted to draw it and turn it into a personified version of that. And I think that came out pretty cool. You can tell that all I had with me was a 4-color pen, and so I think that's a pretty neat one. Yeah, nothing too exciting here. So yeah, nothing too exciting there. This one, I just remember I really liked the color combination of the very, very hot pink with the black, and I thought that looked cool. So I remember this is from 2 years ago. About. Yeah, because I remember this one was done in June, I think. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. Let's go through these. This one is really cool. This is one of my favorite pictures that I've done. Honestly, an oldie but a goodie. And the concept was kind of the painting or the drawing, whatever it is, whatever medium, where the hands are drawing each other. And I wanted to do it with Copics, and so the Copics are drawing in the face, but I drew the Copics, so very fun. Yeah, I remember, okay, this next couple pictures, I remember doing this one. I was sick. And I remember drawing this on the couch. More stuff for that thing. Watercolor painting. Yeah, I remember this paper was very good for watercolor. And then this is a pastel thing. And then I remember I did a bunch of non-Copic pictures. And then, yeah. I remember I was reading American Gods when doing these couple. And then, yeah, and so at a certain point after doing a lot of not Copic pieces, I remember I reverted back to I was oh, I want to just do something normal. And so I drew a bust with Copics of a pretty goth girl, because that is my comfort art. So that's interesting. Yeah, pretty much the same thing. This I was experimenting. I remember I had to do this in my cartooning class. We had to work on shading and doing stuff like that just with a fine liner, and so I was experimenting with that. Not great. Still struggle with that a lot. This one, nothing too exciting. I like this one because I did the full background, and also there's something very appealing about how I did the face. And I made these very pointy and implied they were metallic, which is fun. This is, ooh, let's get that in frame. This was a picture for the Telltale Heart. And so we've got our narrator, who's definitely not crazy, and then we've got the heart under the floorboards beating. Oh, this was either the first or one of the first pictures I did with the watercolor pencils that I got in the sketch box in 2018. And so that was cool. I really, really enjoyed those watercolor pencils, the Derwent ones. They just, I don't want to say they bleed really nicely, but they bleed really nicely. They're very soluble. And this one I love. I use this one as an example on my commission thing because I like it so much. This one as well with the watercolor pencils. I like how the hand came out. It gave it a really cool idea. And I never draw hands well, so that's exciting. Yeah, got no face. Got a lady with a tie, not in a suit. This one, again, something very appealing about the face. I like the expressions that End of the Past put. Oh, this came out so bad. I remember trying to do this and it just was not working. Snap, stop shaking the camera setup. Yeah, no tongue, too exciting. This one I remember was inspired by Leslie Casilli, who is an amazing fantasy artist. She does digital work. And this was inspired by, got it over here. It was inspired by some of the cards in her Savage Majesty deck. Let me see if I can pull out one of the ones. What suit was it? Bitty bitty pitty. Go support her. Come on, we're the queens. I'll settle for a jack. Here we go. It was inspired by this card. So that's how we got this little dude. Obviously didn't come out nearly so good as how she does it, but one day we'll get there. Yep. This was a woman who either she's hulking out and is super aware of it, or because she seems like hyped about it, or like she's just gained this new power, probably activated through the bracelet. Interesting. And I gave her cool eyes and very teethy teeth. This I remember I was trying to draw more like interesting poses, and like again I was working on my I was in my cartooning class at the time of the sketchbook, and so we were doing a lot of stuff with the line of action and like trying to put a lot of personality or like drama into the pictures. And so this one I was really trying with like the pushing the pose and like the coloring, and like her face is really red and stuff like that. Very bright lights. Not trying to be too realistic or anything. This one I remember I was trying to experiment with mirrors, obviously, plus like a cool pose. I don't know if this is super intentional, but I kind of like that we're seeing a lot of reflections that wouldn't necessarily sync up. Like the camera's definitely going from like down here if we're seeing all that, but then we shouldn't be able to see that reflection. But it was fun, and I remember this like got put down on my Copic cases, and it was being reflected in them, and I found that very amusing. Here, let's move this up. This was, again, more trying to draw poses. I can tell I was using La Lunatique. Go look her up. She has the best poses. La Lunatique on DeviantArt. And so there was like a sword set, there was a lot with the staff, and then there was a gun set. And I remember I really enjoyed that set. And I did the next piece. This one is so cool. Like, I like how this feels really complete, even though there isn't a lot really done here. Like, I generally don't do, like, there's an implied cityscape here, but there's not a lot really drawn in. I really like that. I loved this pose because they're just, I don't know, there's a lot going on, but it's also very subtle. Yeah, and I like that I had darker skin with lighter hair is always a nice dramatic contrast. Yeah, I remember just really liking this picture, and I still think it's pretty cool. It's always good, okay. It's always good when you look back at your old art and you don't hate it, okay? Because I used to hate all my old art with such a burning passion, and I've chilled out so much with it, and it's so nice. Like, I can look at some of these pieces and be like, hey, that's pretty good. Or like, oh, that looks nice. Like, oh, that's not my style right now, or anything like that, or that's not the style I was necessarily aspiring to have, but that's still a style. And that's, I don't know, I think that's a good attitude to have. Yeah, that's the last one. Oh, actually, the back of the sketchbook I wanted to draw on. Yeah, so this has been a sketchbook from late 2017 and early 2018. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I would like to get a better angle without blocking the camera. Can we do that? Sir? Ma'am? Nope, we can't do that apparently, so I'm just gonna move it in. Move the setup out a bit. There we go.